How to know if a man is lying in a relationship. Men lie, women lie, everyone does. Most of the time, we lie because we want to make a person feel good about something or to make ourselves look better. As a matter of fact, a study shows that 60% of adults can't go 10 minutes in a conversation without lying at least once. Maybe we can understand if we are being lied to at times, especially by our spouse. A major dishonesty is not something we want with our partner. So, how do you then find out if your boyfriend or husband is lying to you? How do you find out if he's being dishonest? In this video, we'll be sharing with you some tips to help you know if a man is lying in a relationship. If you're new here, consider subscribing so you won't miss other interesting videos like this. 1. When it takes a long time to answer a simple question. The truth doesn't require a lot of prep time. Usually, when a man takes a long time before responding to a question, he's trying to buy enough time to come up with a story. He can do this by either repeating your question or push you to add extra details to your question so that he will know how best to respond. 2. When he changes the subject. Aside from taking a long time to answer, he'll change the subject entirely. He'll try to make it seem like all he cares about is you. That way, you won't suspect a thing. For instance, when you ask where he was last night, he'll say, "Who cares where I was? All I care about is you, my angel. How did you spend your night?" If your boyfriend or husband does this often, you might want to address this situation. 3. When the details do not add up. Because he wasn't prepared for the question, caught unawares and unable to rehearse a perfect line or script, he will likely mess up with the details of whatever information he gives you at the moment. For instance, the first time he explains the story, he could tell you he was out with his best friend, and then the next time he narrates it to you, he will mention the presence of another friend. If this happens, you might want to check out the situation because in the first place, could he have forgotten that there was a third person initially? Ian Kerner, PhD, a New York City-based clinical sexologist, says, generally, liars mess up and change a detail in their story. So, according to Robert Feldman, author of The Liar in Your Life, The Way to Truthful Relationships, ask yourself, does this really make sense? Look beyond what he's saying and try to be an objective observer of his behavior. A good way to find out if his story is true is to ask him to narrate it backwards. That way, you can find out if he's lying by taking note of the inconsistencies, and then you can detect a lie. Human behavior and relationship expert Patrick Wanis explains that some people who are skilled liars will practice or rehearse their lies, but they don't remember them back to front. The reason it's hard to establish proper chronology is that it's not real. If I were to say to you, tell me now in reverse order what you did today going back to 7 o'clock this morning, your mind knows how to do this because it has a timeline. But if you're trying to make up something, it's harder because you have to think backwards. That timeline doesn't exist. So you actually have to create more lies, not just one. 4. When there's either too much information or too little information in what he's saying. We assume you know how your man narrates his story, briefly or well detailed. If he would normally like to include all the detail and suddenly goes briefly with his narration, something might be amiss. On the other hand, if he is usually very brief and will always go straight to the point, something might be wrong when he suddenly starts mentioning inconsequential details. This might be a warning sign as well. Jenny Lee, co-author of Women Are Crazy, Men Are Stupid, says, you know your guy and you know when he's not acting like himself. If your guy is chatty and suddenly he's not, something is up. If your guy is very quiet and suddenly he's giving you too many details, something is up. 5. When he gets so defensive. Having to repeat the same thing over and over again can be pretty annoying. But if a guy gets uncontrollably defensive for something that requires a simple answer to get over with, then he just might be lying. Getting defensive can either make you avoid the subject, seeing that it bothers him so much, or buy him enough time to change the topic entirely. Again, Ann Kenna says, if you find that he pauses a lot when responding to your questions, becomes overly fidgety and defensive, or can't look you in the eye, be suspicious that he might not be telling you the truth. 6. When his body language is saying something different. While refusing to make eye contact might not be a dead giveaway that your guy is lying, there are a few signs that should raise your suspicion. One is says, let's say that a guy says something untruthful and then straight away rubs his nose. That can mean that he's lying. Or a guy can say something but he's half covering his mouth with his hand. Why? He's either withholding something he really wants to tell you, or he's telling you a half-truth. He doesn't want all the words to come out. It's a symbolic gesture. Touching the nose can mean, even I'm disgusted with what I just said. Look out for behaviors that are unusual of him, like fidgeting, sweaty palms, and the likes. These signs can mean that he is agitated. One suggests paying attention to these behaviors to know if the agitation is because he's being questioned or because he's done something wrong. You have to decide that. 7. When he blames you for everything. As a way of forcing you to drop the topic and move on, he will try shifting the blame so that you look like the guilty party. He will try to make you feel guilty about not trusting him well enough to question him. Della Casa says, if every concern you have gets twisted around and thrown back at you, he's pulling a classic guilty man move. Keeping you on the defensive keeps him out of trouble. Thank you for watching our videos. We'd like to give you another interesting video for you to enjoy next. But before then, our team will be very happy if you can like this video and share it with your friends on social media. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss other interesting videos like this. Look at your screen now to see 2 other videos we handpicked for you to enjoy next. We love you.